Okay. So we're talking today with retired Chief from the Blackjack Fire Department, Bob Dick. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Like Dave was saying, you're our first one. So, virginal experience or guinea pig, whatever you want to call it. We've got some questions that we want to make sure we get answered, but
I'll try.
you know, just
Whatever I can do. Yeah, I do. Got to keep in mind now, I can't remember what I had for breakfast. I don't get too carried away.
Yeah, I know the feeling. So, start off with a little bit of personal background.
Okay.
When were you born? Where did you grow up? When did you first decide you wanted to be a firefighter?
I was born September 26, 1927. Okay.
And we're at here.
Oh, St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you go to school?
Went to elementary school. Arlington was the elementary school, and then I went to Blewett High School. I didn't stay too long. Spent a year. It's only a year and 1 year at high school.
Okay.
In fact, I started my second year. It didn't go very long. You know, I just had the education. I just didn't do it. You know.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, I didn't. I ended up today. I had a bachelor's degree in fire science. You know, but I went to high school 1 year. I don't even think I earned enough credits to get 1 year of credit. But yeah, I just never went. You know, I just one of those kind of guys, I guess. You know, and then that's it. 17, I joined, became a Marine. You know, and then went on from there. From there. In fact, I got out of the Marines, I guess, in August of 46, yeah. In January 47, I joined the Navy, active reservist at the Naval Air Station at Lambert Field, and spent about 10 years or so there. And left from there, went to Berkeley Fire Department after that.
Okay. And then you retired as a chief from Black.
Oh, yeah.
So how long were you with them?
24 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, were you with Berkeley when this fire happened?
Yeah. Well, I went in Berkeley when I got in Navy in September of '57, and I stayed with Berkeley until December of '69.
Okay.
And I left there, but with ISO, you know. And in fact, I was only with ISO 4 or 5 months, and that opening came in Blackjack, and so many area fire chiefs said, "Bob, you ought to go take a look at that job," you know. And I thought, it didn't sound too good, but it was worth a try, you know. Right. And so I applied for the job. I ended up getting, I don't know how many people they interviewed, I have no idea, you know. But it turned out to be a great career for me, you know. So.
That's cool. So you were with Blackjack then in 73?
Yeah, 1970, yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay.
I think I left the Berkeley Fire Department December of '69. ISO came out and wanted me to go to work for them. And it would have been a first for them. You know, most guys that worked for ISO engineering department had 4-year degrees, you know, and I just finished my, I guess, the first level of fire science, you know. I hadn't even got my certificate yet, you know, but they thought I'd make a good asset to them, you know, because I was a fireman and they never had firemen do that work before, so they made me an offer, and I was having some problems at Berkeley anyway. I don't know if you remember the chief there or not, Albert Klein. He didn't like me much, but anyway, neither here nor there. But you know, I moved on. I don't deal in that stuff. I never have. People will tell you I don't, you know. And that was a political thing with him, you know. And so ISO came out and talked with me a long time. And
so explain what ISO is, Chief.
Oh, I'm sorry, Insurance Services Office.
Okay.
Back then it was called Missouri Inspection Bureau. They go out and rate fire departments for fire protection. They give them your rating, you know, from 0 to 10, depending on the level of fire service. You know, 10 being unprotected, so to speak, and 1 is being the very best fire department in the area, you know, but there ain't too many class 1s. There may be a few today, I don't know. I don't keep up with it now, but that's what I did. And I'd go out and, you know, check with fire departments and run flow tests and all of that kind of stuff, and check the equipment and give a report and make a recommendation on what rating to give them, you know. So it helped me a lot, because when I went to Blackjack, they were 8 and 9, and we went from 8 to 9 to a class 4 in 5 years. But then I knew all the ins and outs of what had to be done. Well, to be honest about it, I don't put blackjack down, but they didn't have a very good reputation. You know, they really didn't. I checked the file before I took the job when I was with the Inspection Bureau, and their file was full of stuff that didn't look very good for them at all. Really didn't. You're not supposed to do that, but before I took the job, I don't know what I was getting into, you know. But most of the area chiefs who talked to me about it said, you ought to take it. It's a good challenge for you, you know. And it was starting to be good. We had some guys that were really interested, wanting to do a good job. They just didn't have no direction or leadership, and they turned to be great people, you know. So I got some of their names now, but that's what it was for me, you know. So I went from the Navy in '57. Well, they were closing up the Naval Air Station in '57. So you had a choice. He said, active reservist, I could get out, or I could take a transfer. I had two brothers stationed there with me, both in crash firefighting business with me there, and one stayed, finished his career at Yale. I don't know if you know my brother Seaman or not. He went to Berkeley, retired from Berkeley, you know. So I went from there right to Berkeley because the chief at Berkeley been after me to get out and come over there for a long time because he was a firefighter out at the Naval Air Station. And I don't know if you know Hugh Brander. Yeah, he was with the community for a long time. But anyway, finally I had to make up my mind to kick a discharge. And the last day, made up my mind I'm going to get out. I didn't want to pick up the kids and transfer, you know, and all of that again. Because the job was set. If the job wasn't there, I probably would have stayed in. But I went right from the Navy. Next day, started on the department there. So I didn't lose anything, you know, and it was a good career for me. So I moved on from there. Yeah.
July of '73, when the NPRC fire happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you're with Blackjack. Were you on duty when that call first came into your department? I
don't recall whether I was on duty or not, you know. Probably was if it was, you know, was it during the night?
It started what about
after midnight?
Midnight, yeah. No, I'd been home, but
okay.
I was.
What rank were you then?
I was a chief.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. So, when you did get there, what were you thinking when you guys pulled up on that? What did you see? What did you smell?
I didn't pull up. Yeah, we didn't set any equipment over there. All they looked for manpower. So I took a crew of off-duty guys and some who were on duty for I could afford to take off the truck, you know, and go over and do the work that route, you know. So.
Did you drive them over in the chief's car?
We had that in another station wagon. Okay. Yeah, we used the station just sitting around as kind of a spare vehicle, and we took, you know, the number of guys that I could spare. A lot of off-duty guys went over with it, you know, and then we just took charge. I can remember working with, I don't know if you remember Chief Underwood, Ed Underwood.
He was with Charles City, right?
Yeah, he was with Chesterfield then. I think he was the training officer or assistant chief or something. But him and I kind of worked together there. He took in different crews, you know, and just spent the whole day putting out fire. That's what it amounted to, you know. And it was a long haul.
So what were you thinking? Okay, you turn into that gate and you see that building on fire. What was the first thought that went through your mind?
Never give it a thought. Going up to, where was it? I can't remember now from the community who was in charge. Was it the chief, Gherkin at the time, or one of his assistant chiefs? Remember Bud Zace? He was there too. I don't remember which one, but they said all they needed was manpower, and asked me if, you know, because I had my white coat on, if I would take a crew and stay with them and train up the steps, and all the hand lines are already stretched, you know, so it's just a matter of putting out the fire and tearing the files open and kind of wetting them all down. It's a damn shame to do, but that's about it.
Yeah. Had you ever were you familiar with the building at all?
Not at all. Never, no, not at all.
Okay, did they give you like any kind of a detailed briefing when you got there?
No.
You just said, here, take some guys. And
yep. Mm-hmm. Got the lines were already stretched and up in there. He said, just take you guys, pick up a line and move up the steps, you know, and that's about it. All I can remember about it is the water was so damn hot coming down them steps. You could feel the heat through your boots. That's how hot the water was, you know. And we spent most of the day there, maybe 6-8 hours at a time, and that's about it.
How long were you there altogether?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe 4 or 5 days on and off.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish I could remember. I remember the government reimbursing us after the fact. You know, I don't know how much they paid per hour. You know, I had to give them a list of the people there, how many hours they spent there, and then they all got a check. You know, for I don't know, $20, $30, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I've seen that somewhere.
Yeah, we did. We got paid for it.
Tell us about what you actually saw people doing. Okay, you were in charge of a crew.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What were you sending them to do? What did you see other people doing?
Well, you actually look for the hot spots and put out what you can. And sometimes we had to open files to wet some of that down to damn shame, but that's the only way you can do it because they'll continue burning, you know. So hopefully by just wetting them down, holding a fire, they could do something with the burnt papers, you know, files of the veterans that were there.
It did because I worked in the preservation lab.
Oh, is that right?
And my wife still works there.
Yeah, we did what we could. You know?
got to kind of look at it like, had you guys not done that, I wouldn't have had a job for 16 years. And even though they didn't start the preservation lab up until it was about 2000, you know, there's people that work on them every day.
Is that right?
Because we work on them as we get requests in from either the veterans or their families. Mm-hmm. And some of the stuff, one thing I want to try to do once we're done with all these is get these guys together and take them up there and let them see what we do. And then do some kind of for anybody who can make it, like a panel discussion. Mm. Because all of us that work there are just, apart from being thankful for what you guys did, we're just fascinated by it. Because we literally get some of these records, yeah, you had to wet them down to put them out or whatever.
Yeah.
But some of them are just like completely scrunched up.
Yeah, it was a shame to have to do that, but if you didn't, it could go burn up completely. So we just had to wet them down and hope for the best, you know.
Yeah, and I know Chief Palmer told me one time that after a while, you guys realized that because they were all in filing cabinets then, and so you had to have a guy there with the hose as soon as you pulled that filing cabinet open, because if you didn't, they flared back up.
That's correct. That's exactly right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what we had to do.
Do you know, did anybody get seriously injured?
Not to my knowledge, no. I don't remember anybody having any problems with it at all.
It's good. Because it's one thing we've always wondered about.
Yeah. I'm sure there probably was some, you know, but none beyond any of my personnel did at all get hurt.
Okay.
When you first got there, Chief, were the aerial lines still being flowed, or were you able to get up to the fire floor, or were you, because the fire was on the 6th floor?
Yeah.
Were you guys able to make it up to the 6th floor?
Oh, we did it at one time, yeah, sure.
Okay, but early on, were you? I've heard stories about, you know, the heat was so intense that they could.
That's one of the notes that I put. I remember the water coming down the steps where it's warm enough that you could feel it through the boots. Warm, you know, heat from them. Yeah, it was hot. It was a hot period up there.
Did they eventually have to call you guys out because it was getting unstable? Because we look at pictures of this and you can see, okay, there's 5 floors of the building, and then that 6th floor starts going like this.
No, I don't recall ever being asked to evacuate for anything of nature, you know. So.
Okay. How did it sound? Because we've also heard, you know, all the columns there were poured concrete, probably about the size of your table.
Big one, yeah.
And we've heard stories about, and when you think about it, you know, the water's penetrating down into that because it is porous, and then it gets to a point that it just explodes. And we've got photographs of some of the columns where it's like they're okay till about halfway up, and then they're broken off, and that top part is shifted this way.
Never had any problem with that at all that I can recall. You know, I really don't.
Okay.
So what do you have in your notes there?
Oh, just I about Chief Underwood, because I worked so much with him. Take a crew, and I take a crew or something like that, you know, at the time, and I did I got a list of some of the guys that were there with me but a lot of them are not around anymore. They're passed on. So many of the guys from Blackjack, you know, who were there ain't there anymore. But some of the guys are still around. Brummett, Hardin, Kaufman, Sykes, Ray Zepp, you know, these guys are still living. There's a lot of them that passed on, you know, younger than me. But anyway, they've moved on. But that's about it that I can remember. But, you know, it's a long time ago. And
did you have anything to do, because we know once it was put out, and I forget how long that actually took,
I
but
don't
they
recall.
did investigate, you know, to determine how the fire actually started. Did you have any part in that?
No.
Do you know anybody that did?
If they were, they wouldn't be around now. Jim Holdinghouse was possible. I don't know if he was a county fire marshal at the time, or he was still with community. I don't remember, you know. But John Moody would have been, you know, from community. Bud Zeiss, but they're all gone. You know. Either moved on to the big firehouse in the sky or somewhere. You know, but that's where we're all end up anyway. You know, so.
I can't remember the guy's name. The photographs that we've got of the one man that went up in the Camo X helicopter.
Oh, I believe that was Chief Kennedy, Assistant Chief Kennedy.
Yeah, from community. Yeah, he was the fire marshal assistant chief.
Right.
Yeah,
He was kind of running the show because Chief Gherkin was out of town, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you know him?
Oh, yeah. Community fire department, yeah.
What was he like?
Which one?
Kennedy?
Kennedy?
Kennedy.
Yeah, he was a fire marshal when I knew him. I guess he had a chief rank, but he was a fire marshal. And I have no problem with the guy.
That's good, yeah, because just looking at the pictures of him, you can tell he's a guy who seemed to take command real easily. You know, just the look on his face.
I just remember him being a fire marshal, you know, so.
Yeah.
There was Chief Gherkin, and there was two assistant chief, had two shifts. I think Bud Zeiss was one, and trying to think who the other one, I don't remember who the other one was. But anyway, that's where he pretty much run, you know.
So tell us about some of the other guys you worked with that were there.
They're all good. They really were. I was so fortunate to have people that I could associate with, you know, who were really good people. They really were all of them. You know, passion was passed on, you know, and Bob Holmes. I mean, you know, Bob Holmes is Bob Holmes, but I heard a lot of stories about him. But he was, from my standpoint, he was there every day, did his job, or whatever I asked him to do, he did. He was a funny, different kind of guy, but, you know, from my standpoint, that's what it was. And Dave Warren was a captain who was there, and Dick Adams actually was, you know, and Bob Kaufman. All these guys were they were all very dedicated people. They just needed some guidance and leadership, and they were good people.
So firemen back in 1973 didn't make dirt for money?
No.
But yet, you took this group, the group of firemen that you went up on the floor with, were they just your blackjack guys, or were you assigned some other guys as well?
There may have been, mostly was blackjack people, yeah.
Okay.
You know. And
so these were guys that were making poverty wages.
Probably. Oh yeah, when I went to blackjack, you got to know the people, but they're pretty conservative boards, you know, and they were making, I want to say like $600 a month, salary wise, you know. Well, I got hired in April, and they were getting ready because we had the fiscal year started July 1, so I didn't make a budget together. So put together what I could, and I figured I took a look at the past expenses of where we were in the budget, and nobody had done that before. But anyway, we got a 10% raise. When I called them all together in a meeting to see where we're going with the budget, and I told them I'm going to recommend 10% raise, and that was $60 in them. They thought it was better than canned beer, for Christ's sake, $60. They were getting $5 a month pay raise, but honestly, it's what they were good. I think the captains were making $15 more than the private was. Well, they were lieutenants, they weren't even captains then. But they were so thrilled with the idea, And that helped, satisfy me, and get their cooperation a little bit better. But it worked out well for me. So all I can tell you, they're good people.
10%, so.
Yeah, for them it was. Yeah, for them, yeah.
Sure.
At that point, yeah. Really was. And I just showed the board that they could easily afford it. They had the money sitting there,
Mm-hmm.
And,
So when you were working this fire, did anything happen to you, or anything happen that you saw that, for want of a better phrase, and I hope I don't offend anybody.
That's all right.
Sorry, John, when you listen to this, did you ever have an oh shit moment?
No, not at all.
Like,
no.
something.
To my trying to remember, just pretty much a routine. The fire's there, it's hot. Your job is to put the fire out, and it's pretty much it.
So, as a professional, when they built that building, the government didn't want to put sprinklers in because they were more concerned about possible leaks that would damage the records that way than they were about fire.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
Sprinklers should have been installed. Yep.
We wouldn't be sitting here talking about this if there would have been sprinklers there.
Yeah.
I
You'd be
went,
talking to the plumbers.
not to get off the subject, I went through that when Christian Hospital was being built. I insisted they put in sprinklers, and they wouldn't do it. Just wouldn't do it. The code didn't require it, and they wouldn't do it. They did it now. It's completely sprinkled now, but back then they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because I know when we were still on page, and oh man, it was probably at least 10 years ago now, they had a leak. Well, it wasn't a leak in the sprinkler system. There was a guy on the first floor on the dock that hit one of the heads and broke it off. And I guess they never drained these things because the stuff that was coming out of it, I told my wife, looked like 10W40 motor oil with about 100,000 miles on it. And records that they had stored there at that time that were either coming in or going out of the building got all that stuff all over.
It's a mess.
When you were working that fire, can you think of anything that happened along the way, either to you or that you might have seen with other people, that struck you as kind of funny?
None. To my trying to remember, just pretty much routine. It really was.
Yes. Well,
Do you think that was the biggest incident that you had in your career?
Yeah, I was probably so. Yeah, other than aircraft or something like that, 'cause I did enough of that stuff too. Down to aircraft, but yeah, from a structural standpoint, probably so. Yeah.
Yeah, because still theoretically, any kind of storage space like that with all that paper, it's a tinderbox.
Oh yeah.
It's just waiting for something.
Well, them files hold that heat so much, boy, it's hot. God, I wish I had more stuff to try to get you. I just don't know at them.
Like we said, everybody's got their own little story, Chief, and I think when we put all these together, it's going to...
Well, I hope it helps. I really don't know. I don't have a whole lot to offer other than the assignment was to go put out the fire. That's what we did the best we could.
So, do you remember when you guys, probably went out there, did you call North Central and say, hey, we're going to send some guys out there? Was North Central calling departments saying we need some volunteers out there? Or
I don't remember, but there had been a call out for help. Otherwise, we would have been there,
Right.
I'm sure, so.
Right.
I can't remember if I asked this already. I might have, but as you're coming up on it, what did you see? Just tell us how it looked, because I imagine there had to be, from what we've heard, there were flames coming out the windows pretty early
It
on.
wasn't when I got there, I didn't see any flames at all.
Okay.
A lot of smoke and white smoke as well as blue smoke that you could tell, but other than that's it, you know. But I don't remember how many days had already elapsed before I even got there myself, you know, when they called for help. But I still remember.
Yeah, the fire came in, you know, Thursday after midnight. And so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is when the fire department was there. And then Monday it was officially listed as out, and they turned it over, you know, back to the government. Yeah. So pretty much Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So 4 days.
I don't remember the days. I really don't. I do.
Right.
Yes.
Do you remember St. Louis City Fire Department being called out there? That was a big event apparently because there was no mutual aid between St. Louis and St. Louis County.
I don't recall seeing St. Louis Fire Department there. I really don't. No.
Yeah, just a lot of places from St. Louis County from all over the place, and people from all over the place.
You got to remember, back St. Louis County wasn't that many paid departments then either. You know, really wasn't. You know, so.
Yeah.
Were you there anytime during the aftermath, the cleanup?
No.
Once they started that?
Nope. Just did whatever they asked us to do. When we were done, we were done. That's it. You know, so.
Yeah. Okay. You got anything else?
No.
I wish I could offer you some more. I just
fine.
really can't.
We just wanted to hear your story, Chief.
You know, if you want to talk to any of them guys who were there, you're welcome to them. You know, I'm sure they'll.
Did you had your luncheon the other day? Did you say you were going to lunch with some of the blackjack guys?
Oh, we have breakfast.
Yeah.
We have every once in a while. Yeah, last Tuesday of the month we get together.
Okay.
And many from Spanish Liquor. There's much blackjackers now. You know, yeah. We had, I guess, probably 10 or 12 guys there the other day, you know, between blackjack and the lake. You know.
Did you tell them about?
But we looked like the lake as our brothers anyway. You know,
Sure.
we should have been in one department, really. You know.
No doubt.
Yeah. And once in a while, Brown Marita would show up too, you know, from review. But yeah, it was quite a crowd there the other day. It was good, you know, listening to them guys' stories. You know, I don't talk a whole lot during that breakfast thing, but I'll listen to them guys a lot. You know,
Sure.
a lot of stories to be told. But their stories, you know, when you work the shift, is another story. But you know, if I want to give them stories when I work the shift, I could give them a lot of stories too. That is in the engine house when you're there 24 hours a day. You know.
Sure.
But I enjoy being with them, you know.
Well, good.
So when did you retire?
93.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 25 and a half years, I guess, now. So, yeah.
Well,
Quite a career.
Oh, yeah. Got a whole book full of that stuff. My wife was that way. Anything she's seen in the papers or anything at all, she'd put in a file, and then she ended up getting a big 3-ring binder and putting all that stuff into it.
Okay.
The whole thing of stuff, you know.
yeah, it's good that you saved that stuff.
Yeah, it do good. I got it.
For a guy to get it to you.
Well, he's got a couple sons that are firefighters. So
Yeah, anytime I'm going to look at that book, I just, you know, she was my public information officer, public relations. She did everything she could to keep
It's the same thing my wife says about me.
But she's I had a good life. I don't know. I mean, you know, be fortunate. She was 15 years old when I met her. I just turned 20.
How about that?
And then when she was 16, and we were married. She was 16, and I was 20. Yeah. We were married 63 years before she passed away. Got a hell of a life.
Oh, yeah.
Good life.
Thanks.
All the pictures over there, the family, you know.
I was looking at those.
Yeah, they're over there. You can look at them. I don't know. She's a great girl. All that stuff. So I haven't moved any of that stuff. I just leave it.
Heck yeah, looks good. Well, thanks for sharing your story.
Oh, you're welcome. I
Thanks a lot.
trying to think. 70. I don't know. One of my brothers might have been there. I really don't know. I don't know if you know my oldest brother was at Berkeley, and he retired from Berkeley. But
Well, if you talk to anybody
He may have
else,
been, I don't know, but,
when you think of anybody, like at your breakfast meeting, if,
oh yeah, those guys I will remember, you know.
right,
Yeah, you're welcome to talk to them, it's, you know. I just fortunate enough to get some guys who are really good, dedicated guys, you know, really they were happy to have a job.
certainly,
Really are.
certainly.
It's a different story today, I guess, you know.
Oh, no doubt.
But, you know, I mean, politics are politics, and I don't ever play the game, and I did just, this is not me. People can do whatever they want to do, but I never did that. That's why I left Berkeley, you know, I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't put up with it.
Just want to be a fireman.
Yeah, well, ISO came out and offered me that job, and I thought, boy, I know it's a good opportunity, you know, so. The chief engineer came out, so we were redoing Berkeley, trying to get a better rating, and I was assigned to work with him. We went to do all the flow tests and stuff like that, you know, and he came back after, but he said, obviously, you're having a little problem. I said, no, not really. He said, well, the word's out that you and the new chief don't get along. I said, well, I get along with him. He doesn't like me, I guess, you know. And he gave me an offer. He said, why don't you come out and talk to the head of the ISO, Missouri Inspection Bureau, you know. I went down and talked to him. He offered me a job, making more money I was making there, you know. So I took it. I was glad I did, because I didn't stay that long, but Blackjack offered me the job, and I thought use your chance, you know. You talk big all the time, use your chance, you know.
Yeah, well, worked out good.
Oh, it worked out good for me. Oh, God.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome to it. I'll be been any help to you at all with it, but, you know, so, get coffee or something? Bottle of water, a cup of coffee?
I'm one of the few firemen that doesn't drink coffee.
Oh, yeah. I drink a cup in the morning for breakfast. That's about it. Well, once in a while.